Hey, it's the Ray Rican, and um, the big news of the day today is the Ahmed Arbery trial. All the guys were found guilty, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know all the details of the case. Like with the Rittenhouse case, I knew a lot of the details, just because the fact that what happened was that basically, it went along tribal lines, and um, if you were left, you just wanted to find Kyle guilty because of, it was a Black Lives Matter protest, which it was not. It never was. In this case, it was cut and dry. I mean, look, I don't care if Ahmed Arbery I didn't care about the details because I don't know if, let's say, for example, um, I don't know was, if he robbed the place. I don't know if he was just jogging. I don't know none of those details. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I know they said they were trying to make a citizen's arrest. Arresting him and even trying to shoot, but arresting him and shooting him are two different things. Now, I understand there was a scuffle that, Arbery went for the gun, but you know what? At the end of the day, you had someone that was, scared of these people just saying they said they were trying to arrest him, but they were chasing him and all that stuff. And then someone comes at him with a gun. I don't fault you, fight or flight. So either you run or you're going to fight. And this guy fought. And, there is no, I understand them chasing the guy. I understand them following the guy. But to, whip out guns, you're going to scare the shit out of somebody that way. Um, some people are going to fight and some people are going to flee. You're not a trained police officer, so there's no point in doing that. There's not like if you catch a shoplifter and a bunch of people just hold them back till the police get there, something like that. It's a totally different situation. People wanted to link both cases together, saying, one was they were both going to be found not guilty because this whole nonsense of white supremacy. But no, justice was served in both cases. One guy was a kid defending his life, regardless. Like I said, regardless of whether you thought he should be there, he had a right to self-defense. Now I'll say the same thing with Arbery. Regardless of this guy, he ran away. Let's say, like I said, if he was robbing the house or whatnot, it doesn't matter. He ran away, he fled. They didn't catch him in the act. So whatever the story is, he ran away, they chased him. And to me, once that chase, you could have followed him and whatnot, there was no need to whip out your guns. Obviously they didn't know if he was armed or whatnot, but you could tell if someone has a gun. Especially, I think, if he's jogging, this is Georgia. I mean, I don't know what kind of clothes. Like I said, the whole details to me, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know the details. I could only tell you that it was a dumb thing that these three guys did. You put yourselves in that stupid situation because there was no need for you to do that. Other than the fact that you were trying to you were trying to play cops and robbers, and now you became a criminal. That's it. To me, that was just a poor. It was a lack of judgment by these people to do that. So I mean, what else can I say? Justice was served, and real justice is colorblind. We don't need equity in the legal system. We just need justice. And justice is, you look at the facts, you determine it by the facts. If you're using extraneous circumstances, you're not getting a fair trial. Like, for example, like Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin didn't get a fair trial. I don't care if you think he was innocent or guilty. There was no way for Chauvin to get a fair trial. Um, Between the case being as public as it was, there was no juror that would have been not tainted by seeing the video or knowing what was going on, knowing that if you found Derek Chauvin not guilty, that there was going to be a riot. Same thing, so I mean, you could kind of say the same with this case, but to me, like I said, it's totally different circumstances. That's why you take case by case, um and you just go by the facts of the case. You don't try to generalize. You don't bring other cases in that's going on. So justice was served, and let's see how long these guys get in jail. They ruined their lives for shooting someone over a robbery. And like I said, if they would have just followed him, they didn't need to try to apprehend them right away. They could have just been like, hey, they knew the cops. They could have been like, hey, we think we have the suspect. We're going to follow him. We're going to tell you where we're at. Come meet us. Follow the guy. That's it. Now, if he pulled out a weapon and if you pulled out a weapon and I could understand having your guns and they pull, you're chasing someone that you think is a suspect and they have a gun and they whip out a weapon, but to whip out yours when you're not a cop was dumb. Was really dumb. Could have brought a bat with you or something where, yeah, you could have broken his leg or something like that. And worst case scenario, you looking at, an assault charge. But now you guys are convicted murderers, and that's it. Like I said, I'm not going to pretend to know all the details. I have this, I have the post millennial article here of everything that they were found guilty of. It's not much details. Like I said, I mean, it's pretty cut or dry. It's pretty cut and dry. So there's always going to be narratives, and you can see that what goes on. You start with let's say with the Covington kids, without video evidence, you don't see the narrative. Same thing here with this case. There was the video. You didn't get to see the struggle, but you heard it, and you heard the gunshot. You have this other case. I've avoided talking about this because the with this case with the Christmas parade massacre. It goes here. Here's the title of the article: MSNBC calls this massacre an accident. When you watch the video, let me see. If you haven't seen the video, you could tell it wasn't an accident. And for these people to say, I'm not saying there's some people on the right calling it terrorism. I'm not going to sit here and call it terrorism. I'm going to say at the very least, they could have called it. They could have said like this here parade crash. You could have called it an incident, but to call it an accident, no, it was not an accident. You could, like I said, incident, crash, whatever. But you got to understand, it's MSNBC. They want to build a narrative. Once they see race, they saw the guy was black, crashed into a crowd of white people. Bam, we got ideology goes into place. They're not doing news. They're doing tribalism, and it's like, okay, we got to cover this guy. Even though he had disgusting social media posts, they don't care. Colors were reversed. So a white guy ran into a group of black people, and he had half the things that this guy had. He wouldn't even need half. He would just need one wrong post, and it would have been like, oh, this is white supremacy, domestic terrorism, and that would be the news coverage 24/7 for the next until there was something else that happened in the news. But right now, what's going on, it's going to go on the back burner. Just same thing like as I had did the video about the kid who did the school shooting in Texas. You don't hear about that. If it was a white kid, it'd still be in the news now. But this kid, this black kid, shot up the school, got out on bail cheap, like $7,500, not even being charged with like attempted murder. He's just being charged with aggravated assault. So, you know, that's what's going on. This is stuff that, you know, they play to the narrative, they play to the ideological bias. So that's why I say when people say they're nonpartisan, they're politically independent. Look, listen, everybody has some sort of bias, political bias, whether, not many people are straight center on everything. You're going to have your bias. To me, as long as you own your bias and you admit your bias, it's easier to filter things out, and you understand where your bias is, so you know what to look out for. When you think you're not biased is when you don't even think about it. Like, that's why I said I know what my bias is. I know where, when I'm talking here, I know where my bias is going to lead me when I talk about these things. But these people, how MSNBC gets to talk about white supremacy and put all this stuff out there and not get fact checked. That's what drives me nuts. Trump did talked about when he was president about the Kyle Rittenhouse case. He had his opinion and political fact checked it. But MSNBC could talk about white supremacy every day and there's no fact checks. It's an opinion, it's not news. But it's radicalizing people. They talk about Fox News radicalizing people. Well, when you see MSNBC, CNN talking about white supremacy around every corner, you're radicalizing people, and you're creating a divide in this country that's gonna go from this cultural revolution that we're living through to, we may have a hot civil war. We don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want my kids to live through that. But the media, social media, all are biased, but they pretend that they're not. You got these you have these fact-checking groups, fact-checking opinions. And that's where we are with this. We have, just in case, have a happy Thanksgiving. Tomorrow, enjoy your day, enjoy your food. Just remember the people who are not here. Let's pray for those people, and pray for the people who can't afford to meet with family or have a Thanksgiving meal. Let's pray for those people. Let's not take for granted the blessed situations that we're in. Right. That being said, I said, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.